one slight change, if you guys are okay with this, because of your competitor not showing up a little more time, maybe we can be a little more substantive in our next set of questions. So you each will just take 2 minutes to answer the questions. So we'll get them in sequence. So Sean and Matt and Dr. Becker will just go over. That's okay. So the first question. You guys have all said this. I think everyone in town has said this. Jobs is the number one issue facing this town. And, most Americans feel the same in this town. We feel in particular. We have a two-fold problem in this town. We have a jobs problem, which is not uncommon. We have a commuting problem, too. This county has the longest commute of any county in New York State outside Illinois State. And so we're not only don't have jobs, we have to travel to find them anyway. So people may have a reason to leave this wonderful little place. So if you wouldn't mind addressing what you can do, as a freshman congressman down in Washington, the jobs problem, and as you wouldn't mind for this question, any others, be as specific as you can for this little town of ours. It would help to put into context. Sean?
Well, look, let me tell you what I've done with my time in government. So first of all, we talked about the Clinton administration where we created 20 million new jobs, the longest period of economic expansion in American history. So there's nothing more important in creating jobs than to grow this economy. And we need to focus on that like a laser beam. But let's be specific as well. When I worked in the governor's office, one of the things I wanted to do was I wanted to create massive new investments in infrastructure through public-private partnerships, so that we get things like the Tappan Zee Bridge done in our lifetime, so we can get better rail service, so we can have higher speed rail service, so we can improve the networks that we telecommute on and that we work in new ways on. And this is absolutely critical. It's absolutely critical for job creation, it's absolutely critical for our quality of life, and how much time we spend getting to and from work, and how much time we spend with our family. So I think that's absolutely important. One of the other things I did in the governor's office is I wanted to create an endowment for higher ed in this state, so that we can educate our kids better right in the communities where they live. You know, we have this fantastic network of the SUNY CUNY system in New York, but we've been underfunding it for years. So one of the things I wanted to do was create an endowment. So it had a reserve of money like the private universities do, so that it could hire thousands of new faculty, so we could fund capital programs that have been delayed, so that we could improve the services, improve the interconnections between local businesses, so we can incubate new ideas, get things going like the nanotechnology corridor that we're seeing spring up south of Albany. That's how you grow jobs locally. I think we can do other things. I think we can do what I want to do in the governor's office, which we brought the baseline education funding from $17 billion a year up to $21 billion a year. We did the largest increase in education spending in New York State history. That's critically important, so our kids are getting a better education and have the opportunities right here in their own communities. But there's more we can do. We can improve the tax structure so we incentivize manufacturing again in this country. We ought to have a better tax structure for manufacturing right here locally. Green jobs, especially renewable energy jobs. We can do other things. We can stop giving tax breaks to companies that ship jobs overseas. That's just crazy. Republicans do that. We can stop giving huge tax giveaways and other incentives to oil companies that are already making record profits, and we can start spending money on critical skills now. So there's a lot we can do, and I've spent 20, 25 years of my life trying to support job growth and support working middle class families in government, day in and day out. Thank you.
Well, I told you my name was Mayor Matt, but in Dutchess County and in Orange County and throughout the area, I'm known as the Water Mayor. And I'm known as the Water Mayor because I have spent my efforts in working on infrastructure relating to water and working on environmental problems relating to water. And as it relates to jobs and as it relates to Phillipstown in particular, I would say that there is a great opportunity, and I've met with Judith Enck of the EPA, and we've talked about the very need to put together environmental projects that would help us protect our environmental resources right here in the 18th District. And this is a great source of jobs. In Wappingers Falls, I am a mayor who has done more public works projects than any other mayor before me since the one who served underneath FDR. $7.5 million of public works projects we have accomplished, and we picked those projects based on what return they would give us, just like any accountant would do. And we spent $6 million on our water treatment facility to save $30 million to create immediately jobs for our community and to create a community that would forever create jobs based on its ability to provide resources that businesses would want if they were to move into our community. And we grew 17% during one of the worst recessions since the Depression as a result of this effort. I have a proven ability to perform in this manner. I've been the chief financial officer of a recycled paper mill in this district 20 years ago, and I have spent time on the trains in this district, commuting 75 miles away to get gainful employment because of lack of good employment opportunities here in this district in my past 31 years since I've been here. I have a proven record of doing this, and I know that mayors and supervisors throughout the 18th district know what each community needs, and we need better partners to create those opportunities.
Your question really requires two answers.
1 minute each.
Yes, 1 minute each, because the question is, how do we get the economy going, and how do we do it specifically for this area? So to get the economy going, I would agree that the most important thing is rebuilding the infrastructure. Our roads, bridges, and tunnels were all built during the last Great Depression. They're over 100 years old. They're old, they're crumbling, they're undersized, they're just not adequate anymore. And by rebuilding these structures, we'll create immediate construction jobs to jumpstart the economy, and we'll be left with great infrastructure that we all need to know is a looming problem. Specifically to the local issue, you got to know the area here. And we've got a great street down here in Cold Spring, in which we have empty shops. We are trying, this community should be known as one of the world's greatest art centers. We need to develop art and services that support art. We need to build up our schools so that people are attracted to this, and we have to bring in businesses that serve this local community for what it's traditionally been. I really feel that we need a hotel in this community so people have a way to come. Really local. You know, one size does not fit all. You can't put a square peg in a round hole. We don't want to change the nature of this community. We just want to get it going again. We want to stop having our citizens here just living and surviving. We need to get them thriving again.